Today, we want to talk about the foundation of agentic AI. Somehow, the technology where we belong to, the field where we belong to, is disruptive. Disruptive in the sense that it's just changing at the speed of light. Things are coming up every day, inventions, innovations, changes are being made every day. And the agentic AI space is one of them. I remember in our Lagos bootcamp, we were talking about automating tasks. These days, we're saying, okay, repetitive tasks don't need to be performed by humans again. Let machines do the repetitive tasks. But agentic AI is even going further. It's even saying that, yes, even tasks that have reasoning, tasks that have to do with deep thinking, agents can perform it. These agents are you. So in your role, you assume that agent, maybe a researcher, maybe a writer, maybe a programmer, uh, maybe a virtual assistant. Agents can eventually be used to take up those space, and then, the tasks that humans actually do. Again, we keep reiterating that these things are not actually taking away the work from humans, but they are giving, new rules. New rules are coming up. So let's look at the here. It's majorly like a guide. We call it a roadmap to become an agentic AI. We try to introduce you to what it's all about, and then give you a guide, the expectation. And at the end of the class of this webinar, we will try to do a demo just to show you what agents can do. Maybe picking one of the open source we have. AI is leveling up. When we look at the agentic AI, the next stage of intelligent system. So the agentic AI is more this time like an intelligent system. It's no longer like reactive. Maybe we'll talk about that. But then it can even plan a system. It can give you the next step to take at every stage of whatsoever you want the agent, or the role you want the agent to play. You are the one that will define it. Okay. So we already know of the LLMs we have: ChatGPT, the Midjourney, the DeepSeek, the Gemini, the rest, and several others that we use. Like, the trend is moving. We were using search engines. We've moved from search engines. We're beginning to use reasoning engines like ChatGPT, Midjourney. But then the trend is also moving. These tools, the LLM, are more reactive tools. They wait for your command. They don't just take actions until you give it a prompt, which is the command. It processes and give you an output. So it is conversational based on prompts and response. That is the level one AI we have. And the agentic AI is more advanced. But what if AI could do more just than responding? And that's what it is. Remember, when we deal with a little automation, for example, in our last session in Lagos, we were looking at the make.com and then automating tasks, maybe just by somebody filling a form. An email is triggered, an email is sent to all those that filled a particular form. No longer waiting for a human to collate information and then send email. This time, once a form is filled, an email is sent automatically and possibly add you to a particular group, a Google group, a WhatsApp group, a Slack group, or anything. Or sometimes it's even an update from your website. You just update your website and just connect webhooks, and then eventually contents are created on all social media channels that has to do with that site. So, but if what we're saying is, what if AI could do more than just respond? Instead of telling an AI what to do step by step, what if you could just tell it the goal? So beautiful, that is the goal here. In agentic AI, you are telling it, this is what I want to achieve. And the agent go ahead to plan every task for you and execute it at the end. So agent drafts and send an email, for example. You could just tell it. So this is the fundamental shift from reactive instruction to proactive problem solving. It is the difference between a tool and a collaboration. So we are saying that, so for the agentic AI, what's the difference? Generative AI respond to prompt is reactive. Here, agentic AI pursue goals. You give it, this is the goal I want to achieve. For example, I want to create an e-commerce website. It's a goal, a long-time goal with several steps to take. Agent can perform that task for you. Second point, generative AI needs human guidance for each step. Well, the agentic AI executes multiple steps, multiple step plans autonomously. Now, these steps, this execution could be synchronous or asynchronous. Synchronous in the sense that they could be running parallel, or it could be that one agent perform a task, hand over to the next agent pick up the same task, evaluate it, perform it to the extent in that loop until you get to the final stage. The third point, generate a single output. Yeah, the LLM just generate one single output, but the agentic AI can take several action, takes action and uses several tools just at the same time. The LLMs, the generative AI LLMs have limited memory of the tasks, but here the agentic AI learns from long time memory. So as you keep using it, the agents learn from it. So let's try to break down AI agent character build. An agent is a system with core attributes that allow you to think and act on its own. Interesting. The agentic AI think and act on its own. I don't know whether anybody here has used the agent in Copilot. But then the beauty of those agents is that the normal thing that you do, go back to your code, go back to the prompt or the terminal, write a command, agents pick it, write, command in the prompt, watch the execution, trace errors, correct it, and execute it till the end. That's the beautiful part of agents. Pick up your task. In fact, what Google is trying to bring is Google is trying to even bring computer use agents such that those agents can even deploy applications. Maybe your Docker images, and then build complete web apps, deploy it to the web even without you touching it. In fact, with computer use agents, even on your computer, you could just trigger an agent, it search for a file, perform tasks on that file, save the file, and then could send it even as an email. That's the beautiful part of agents. So agents have perception, they have senses, how it sees its environment, users input, it uses APIs and data sources. The reasoning, we know that agents thinks more, how it thinks, connect ideas, decide what to do next. These are all powered. Now, these decisions are also powered by LLM. Agents have connections with the LLM. The planning strategy, it breaks down a complex goal into step-by-step missions. The actions, the tool it uses to get things done, calling APIs, browsing the web, writing code, depending on what you want a particular agent to do, agents use different tools. Maybe when we're talking about it, we'll also look at it. It also have memory. It learns from past actions to improve future performance, short-term context, and long-term experience. So the foundational equation for autonomy as AI agents. So it's a combination of LLM with the tools it uses. Now, there is also a part of loop where it could check and see if what it has produced is best suit the case the user wants, or there's something to improve. In fact, there are sometimes that you create agent that you tell it, okay, perform this task, but try to loop over it like 4 times to be sure that you are coming out with a good report, for example, or the code meets the standard of use. So it could just also loop. So why now the reasoning threshold? AI agents are viable today because last time when models like GPT-4 and Claude have finally crossed a critical threshold in reasoning. They can now reliably break down problems, handle complexity, and make sensible decisions across multiple steps, making this equation finally work in practice. When agentic AI picked up at some point, there were problems with, in fact, with even memory. But now there are several improvements. So the agent can still look back at short-term memory and even long-term memory, and then store it over time, learn with it, and then make useful decisions based on what has been decisions that have been accepted and those that have been rejected. So it gets better. AI agent can form a team. Now, so that's the beautiful part of this agentic system, because we are looking at a multi-system, not just a particular agent. So you look at an agent more like your role in your organization. So if we look at this diagram we have here, we have a researcher who should have been an human being, but then it's an agent now, one agent. Another agent is maybe a coder. Another agent, a planner. Another agent, a communicator. Another agent, a verifier. So this form that particular system. One agent perform a task, hand over to the next agent, or they are performing this task asynchronously. They are doing, all of them are going at the same time, parallel, but they are giving different feedback, or at the end submitting to a particular person that will check, which is more like in a normal organization. So a single agent is powerful, but complex problems often requires a team of specialists. Multi-agent systems orchestrate multiple autonomous agents, each with a unique skill to collaborate on a single ambitious goal. For example, if I say we are trying to deploy an e-commerce website, we'll have maybe a coder or a developer perform his tasks. We have somebody else that will host it, for example, an integrator that will maybe integrate it to maybe a cloud platform, and then somebody else that will publish it. And so that's the same kind of scenario that agents also play. So you think of it as an expert crew assembled for high-stake projects. So here, somebody is asking, wants an agent to perform a task. I am Jacob. I need a website for my startup. Can you help me? This task is a task that normally, if you are coding and you are doing it all alone, it might take you maybe like 2 weeks to complete this task. But with agents, we are sure that within 2 hours, with all things being equal, agents should be able to complete this task to publishing if all parameters are set right. So we look at the real world quest. So this person is launching a startup website. The goal is to get a new e-commerce store online in 2 weeks. A multiple agent gets the job done in less than 2 weeks for me, maybe in 2 hours, if all parameters are set. So we have the GPTs are used as the content builders. You could use OpenAI, you could use Gemini, you could use Cloud, you could use Grok, you could use anyone. And then the agent also maybe pick a website builder, maybe like Lovable or Tree. And then a hosting platform like AWS, Azure, or Versailles. So this is the scenario that the agent could build a plan like this. But remember, each of these is handled by different agent, maybe a GPT, a content builder, maybe another one uses the website builder and then the host. So we have other open source agentic framework for multi-agent system. These frameworks help developers build autonomous AI systems for tasks like multi-agent collaboration, data orchestration, and complex workflow automation, offering varying level of control. So we have the LangChain, the LangGraph, the Creo AI, the Microsoft AutoGen. Microsoft also uses the semantic kernel. Then we go to the Gemini, the agents for Google. In fact, Google has A2A as their agent and also uses the computer use cases for agent. And there are other platforms, the Event Lab. Several ones are coming up these days that are actually open source as well. But then there is a limitation to the open source that you are using. So this isn't just theory. It's already creating serious value because all I've been talking is like, this is just theory. How am I going to use it? How is it going to work? So this isn't just theory, it's already creating serious value. A leading retail company implements an agentic AI system. Here's what happens. Reduction in manual works. Yeah, because that's the goal. You want works to be automated even while you are sleeping, as far as you cause the agents to run. So increasing customer satisfaction, boost in conversation rates, and reduction in operational cost. So here, instead of employing 10 people, you could just employ one that runs the agent and controls it. But it's not easy. We are facing the final boss. Yeah, there are challenges with it's not rosy. It's not just as smooth as I present it. There are challenges if you are actually building a system. Now, alignment and control. How do we ensure agents follow human values and intention, not just literal codes? Because while building a system, you want to be sure that these agents actually follow human values and intention. So there is normally a human in the loop. For example, even if you go to hallucination, because remember our LLM hallucinates. Not all response from LLM are correct. Sometimes you will need to check there are errors based on the data that those LLM are trained on. If there are biases, the result will not be as expected. So there is normally a human in the loop such that these errors can be checked. So we cannot say completely that because agents are coming in, humans are of no value. No, humans will always be in check for now. We have not gone past this stage yet. Humans are still available there to check at various stages. For example, even in your co-pilot, you can make your agent, you can implement it such that until you give a pass, no code is executed. So that why you do this is so that there will be a check and be sure that everything that is being given out is correct. Safety and reliability. How do we prevent agents from taking harmful or unintended actions in the complex real world? So there are guide rails. Even for the LLM, there are guide rails that are set for LLM. For example, you cannot tell, if you ask ChatGPT, can you give me a step-by-step guide on how to rob a bank? ChatGPT will not give you that response because there's a guide rail already set that it doesn't answer this type of questions. Yeah. So for safety and reliability, guide rails are set. I mean, there are some questions that you ask it. In fact, for some other agent that you do, if you ask it, you can decide to make your agent answer only specific questions, such that if you ask any question outside that, the agent will tell you, well, I am only a professional in this. I cannot help you on that part. Yeah, so this is for safety and reliability, so that you know that I am picking only a professional to do particular things and not everything, especially things that are violent and harmful. So we also need to check, how do we secure systems when agents can access sensitive data and external tool. I think we have the Wecncode also had a webinar that has to do with this some time back. So here, we just need to do a little practical on this. I have this agent I just pick up here. This is an agent. In this scenario, what I tried to achieve was that I wanted, this is my goal here. Okay. Now, I am looking for, I want to make research on this topic. Open source AI agents 2026. So normally in a standard organization, we should have somebody like a researcher that will bring up, maybe go to the internet, look for any information about this, and then pass that data or that information gotten to a writer. The writer compile the report and send it. But here in this case, we are building a multi-agent that can answer this. So we have one agent. We have one agent. We have two agents here. One as a researcher and one a reporting analyst. We can decide to call it a writer if we want. So this researcher goes to the internet. What it does is we'll call it a senior data researcher because, okay, let me try to explain this before I go to implementing it. So for every agent, for every crew, because I'm using crew AI here, for every crew of a particular team, each of them that you are picking has a role. So we call them agents. The agent has a role, they have a goal, and they have a backstory. So first, like the researcher role, we're saying that for this topic is a generic topic that will be picked from the main that we integrated. Act like a senior data engineer. Your goal here is uncover cutting edge developments in the particular topic that is given. Now, the backstory. You are a seasoned researcher with a knack for uncovering the latest development in the particular topics, known for your ability to find the most relevant information and present it in a clear and concise manner. That's just the what the researcher does. Then we also go to the reporting analyst. We have the rule, the goal, and then the backstory. Act as a reporting analyst, create detailed reports based on topics, data analysis, and research findings, and then the backstory. Let me just try run quickly so that if we are available, we can do it. If you can do it even from your end, I'll just be guiding you on what to do. The next step is that all the agents have a task. So the research task, first, what you do is you give him a vivid description of what you want to do. So first, conduct a thorough research about the topic. Make sure you find any interesting and relevant information given. The third point is the current year is dash. So you could give as many points as you want, one or two, depends on what you want. The expected output. Also, there should always be an expected output. A line with maybe 10 bullet points of the most relevant information about topics. And then this agent who perform this task is this agent researcher. Remember, we have named the agent researcher here. The same thing with the reporting task. You have a description, you have the expected output, and then you have the agent performing that task. There could be as many agents as you want and as many tasks as you want. The next thing sometimes you want to do is that in the main .crew, here is where you are trying to define the particular input that you are picking. Now, okay, let me allow it. So here we have a topic. I can change this topic at any time. Can somebody give me another topic that you want us to research on outside of this? You can drop it in the chat. Here, I try to make research on open source AI agents in 2026. That's what I'm trying to look at. But somebody can give me another one. You can just drop it in the chat. Let me take a look at it. Or you unmute yourself and let me know and just speak out so that I type it here and then we'll just see how this agent works. Okay, job trends. Okay, let's pick this. So I'm using this as the topic I want to research on. Okay. So And then we also have our um, nothing much to do from your end here. This come with the crew when you create it. So here you majorly import all the libraries that you need to use. The crew AI, and then you have a crew base. We are not majorly generating this fresh. There's nothing much here to pick up from. Okay, so you have here you are picking the crew data, you are picking your agents. Remember, we have the research agent, the researcher, and then we have the reporting analyst, the two agents we have. You must pick them back here, define the class for them, and allow them do their work because this is where it defines their work. What tools are they using? These agents, this agent here is using a tool called SapaDev. The SapaDev tool is majorly a tool that allow the agent to search the internet. There are different tools you can use, but in my case, I use the SapaDev tool. I will give you an idea of what it's all about in creating. Here, it didn't use, there's no agent because it's not making any research, it's only compiling a report. So no tool here. And then we have setting the variables to true in both cases. Then also the tax, still just picking it up, not much here to do. But then in the tax for the research agent, the output, you are indicating where the output should be. The output should be in reports.md. So this is where your output will be. And then you execute it. There's not much here. Okay, let's go back. Another thing you will need to set is your environment variables. I don't want to expose my API keys here. Okay, but then here in the environment variable, you set up the API keys, you set up the model you are using. In my case, I am using Gemini because my OpenAI keys, the credit is already finished. But then you are just setting the model, you are setting the OpenAI key, and then we also use the SapaDev API key. Before I try to run this, let me show you a few things you will need to get in place. So the first thing you must have is that ensure that you have a Python, at least 3.1 to 3.13. You must have a Python version 3.11, maybe to 3.13. And then you must have your open AI key. You could create Gemini, you could create anyone that you are comfortable with, open AI, that's ChatGPT, and then the model you want to use. Um, I will show you an idea of what we're doing. And you also have to install the Crew AI. Before I go back, I'll go back to that step. I would like us to go through it one by one, but let me run this Crew AI and show you how the Crew function. So we just Crew AI run. I want it to execute that particular task of trying to do a research for me on this topic. Okay. So the Crew is running and it's using my API keys, the one I've asked it to use for the LLM. Well, this is running. Let me also show you. Um, okay, this is source. Okay, so you can see that the crew is running. The first thing it's doing is the crew execution started, and then the name of crew is this. It finished that task, going to the next task. So what he's doing is researcher has picked up his task now with an ID number. And you can see once the task is completed, it jumps to the next task. Has gone back to the agent started. So job trains in next 3 years for computer science students. A senior data researcher is taking up this task, conduct a thorough research about job trends in next 3 years for computer science students. Make sure you find any interesting and relevant information, given the current year is 2026. Okay. So the tool is picking up a tool executing started. Is search the internet with SAPA. So it's using SAPA as a tool now to search the internet for job training for computer science students. 2026, remember we give it a 3 years to 2029. So now, the first task completed, it try to search different sites. What it looks at this site, joint handshake, look at the type of job that are in Shake. Look at the job that are in Coursera. Look at Reddit. Look at this, bls.gov, Skilla. So what it does is check different sites that are relevant to what you are, the question you want to find or the research you want to find. So agent brings out a final report. So you can see job trend in next 3 years for computer science student, senior data researcher. Now, this is the result, the final answer. Employment of computer science and information research is projected to grow 20% from 2024 to 2034. It gives you just good insight about what is expected in the job market. Top in demand computer science job for 2026 and beyond include AI and machine learning engineers, data scientists, cybersecurity analysts, cloud architects, and product managers. Well, the job trend and the rest. So it is a top research and give you this information. And then we try to go to the final answer, which is for the research analyst to come out with an executive summary. And so the reporting analyst do the complete job. It gives you an executive summary of what the senior data analyst has found out, executive summary, the landscape of that. It gives you the overall job market outlook. It gives you overall job market outlook, give you high growth and in-demand specializations, give you AI and machine learning. So it breaks it, the data science, the machine learning, the cybersecurity analyst, the cloud architect, the product managers, the robotics specialists, computer forensics, core demand, and the rest. So it gives you a very good report based on what you ask it to do. And then the completion report is here. Remember, what it does is that the moment a report is given, there is also a final stage that the crew go back to it again and check and be sure that what we are giving you now is what it has been checked properly and there are no errors. That's where we come with the crew completed assignment. And this is what we have here as the last. You can also see that in the report.md because this is where we ask it to save the file. So the file is saved here. If we had given it other tools, for example, we have included another tool that will convert this report to a PDF. It will also convert it to PDF or to Word. But remember, we are putting it as a report.md. This is where we ask it to save, and this is what we have in writing. I know that if you ask a human being to do this, it takes you, if not a whole day, to get this report done. But this is what we did just within a minute or less, yes. The agent is able to take that research and give you that report.